My AP Lang experience has allowed me to comprehend what it means to be a good writer. Proper writing is crucial in order to get your message across to your audience. My first 3 years at Canisius, I earned high 90s to hundreds on almost all my papers. I was proud of myself and had a belief that I truly was an effective writer. AP Lang helped me to realize that this was not true, not yet anyway. Senior year, I received mid-80s to low 90s on most of my essays. I had to completely reevaluate the way in which I wrote my essays in order to effectively maintain a strong argument and structure for my audience. My training commenced to become a better writer. Through my comprehension and improved writing in AP Lang, I was able to have characteristics in my early works that were absent in later works, overcome my weaknesses, and improve my lackluster diction. On October 18th, the final copy of our first quarter thesis paper was due. I was afraid that my work would be insufficient, and my fears ended up being correct. I earned a 73, and as you can see, my paper is riddled with marks and comments on the side. The only good thing to come out of my writing was that it was so bad I got to redo it to earn a better grade.
Got a ticker problem. What's the matter? You got nothing left inside, huh? Because you're training like a damn bum, you know that?
Bum.
A bum.
The purpose of the essay was to analyze the rhetoric that the author used in order to convey her argument. I was unable to engage in any actual analysis for the essay. I stated what the author used for her argument, but not show how the devices supported her reasoning. For example, I described how word choice and diction emphasized the important details of the author's speech, without giving examples of words to back up my own argument. The amount of spag errors was astounding. I was shocked that the number of grammar mistakes was even impossible to achieve. My second attempt was much better than my first. I was able to engage in a thoughtful analysis when describing the author's work. I actually provided the how within the analysis instead of merely stating the rhetoric. For example, I gave examples of the word usage the author employs for emphasis, such as "we shall die," early on in the speech, and explained why these words were so important to her argument. I did a great job fixing my grammar mistakes and explaining my examples and analysis. For my future essays, I look to fix my transitioning, spag errors, and obviously to get the paper right the first time. On the Plan for Moral Perfection essay, I was determined to achieve a higher grade than my first quarter thesis. When I received my paper back, I was thrilled to have earned a 94. I then realized I still had work to do to become a better writer. I had more spag errors, which can be seen through the blue markings on comma usage, word choice, and sentence structure. Unfortunately, I still did not comprehend transition, as you can see through the marking. Improvement was seen from my first quarter thesis because I was able to clearly explain my examples instead of just merely stating them. I was proud of how I grew in my writing in a short amount of time, but there was still work to be done with grammatical errors and transition. I was determined to write a thoughtful and well-written essay before my time in AP Lang came to a close. Upon learning of a new essay topic for the AP exam, we were assigned the synthesis essay. I was proud of the work I had done when I handed in my essay, and was overjoyed to have earned a 97. I still had some grammar mistakes, but overall it was a terrific essay. As you can see, I had some trouble with comma usage and word choice in the conclusion. I just have to be more thorough in my evaluation of the paper before handing it in. I was glad to have finally understood how to properly use transition. As you can see, there are no blue markings saying transition ? I also did a great job providing clear and well-supported evidence, being well organized, and being persuasive.
It's the greatest night in the history of my life. I just want to say one thing to my wife who's home. Yo, Adrian! I did it!
During my time in AP Lang, I experienced trouble with writing that I had not experienced in a long time. You can clearly see how far I have come since my first quarter thesis. I went from a paper covered in red correction ink to an essay with few markings and a high grade. I've improved my vocabulary tremendously, limited the amount of spag errors, and I have finally used proper transition. I am thankful for what I have learned to become a better writer, and I know that I will use this information in future writing for college and beyond.